Hey, what is up? It's Dean Soto with ProSaloom.com and FreedomIn5Minutes.com, and we are here for yet another episode of the Freedom in 5 Minutes video podcast. I guess we could call it. I'm so used to doing the podcast. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you can go to iTunes and subscribe there. Or the best way to actually find it is to go to FreedomIn5Minutes.com, www.FreedomIn5Minutes.com. And when you go there, there is the ability to get 7 exclusive raw episodes that I had done in the very beginning, and I never released them publicly. So you can go there. It also has a link to subscribe to the podcast. All right, so today's episode topic is getting rid of problem customers. That and more coming up. All right, so my neighbors, which are way over there, I can hear them. They've been working on something. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I'm guessing it's some kind of structure because they've been working on it for a while. But anyway, so the topic for today is getting rid of problem customers, and so back, I want to say 6 months ago. It might be that long now, but anyway, 6 months ago, I had brought on a customer, and he, so this was for my virtual assistant agency at ProSaloom.com. ProSaloom is just if you didn't know, is a consulting, systems and process consulting, and a virtual assistant agency that focuses on getting people overseas who are specialized in doing systems and process documentation. Well, I had a customer, I had a client who I was testing out, and the typical process is when someone's a prospect, when someone is looking to get a virtual assistant from my company, I get on the phone with them and I feel them out. A lot of people think that one of the best ways, think that when you get on the phone with a customer that you should sell that customer. You should sell them. Well, I, from experience, have known that the more you try to sell somebody, the more they ain't gonna buy. And the best customers are those ones that you push and push and push away. And they give you every reason under the sun to work with them. Well, there was this one customer, we'll call him Ricky. It's totally not his name, but we'll call him Ricky. Ricky was a phenomenal, nice guy. And we got on the phone. He was a prior customer of mine for some dropshipping stuff, and he wanted to get a virtual assistant, systems and systems and process virtual assistant. I need to get out of the sun. This is like nasty here. And that being said, we hopped on the phone, and he went and started talking about what he wanted to do with these overseas virtual assistants. The big thing is that he wanted to start an Amazon dropshipping business, but he really didn't have one existing right now. which is not a problem. However, I've found that when you're hiring somebody, it doesn't matter if it's somebody overseas or if it's somebody here, you typically need to know the business. You typically need to know what goes on in the business. Because no matter how, one of his ideas, one of the thoughts, which was a great thought, I'm not saying it was a bad thought or anything like that, I just don't think it was the most optimal, was that he had processes and documentation that I personally had created, that he had, that did step by step the process for dropshipping. And the processes totally work 100%. However, two things about it. One are the processes were specific to my business, my personal business, but with a few modifications, you can make it your own. And that was one of the things that I was selling those processes for. But the second thing is, if you do not know your business, what do you think is going to happen if you start getting questions? What do you think is going to happen when the VA isn't sure quite what to do in certain circumstances? Now, these are systems and process VAs, so they can document whatever is needed, and then do that thing over and over and over and over again. However, there are tiny little things every now and then where they might not be sure of something. And so there might be some kind of clarification needed inside of those processes, inside of those step-by-step systems. So, that being said, I had this feeling in my gut. That, no, it's just not going to be a good fit. Not that he's a bad guy. He's a fantastic guy. He's super nice. Every time I talk to him, I'd like to just talk to him on the phone and be friends. But I just had this feeling that, no, he had other businesses that he could have focused on with this type of overseas staff member, but he wants to start this brand new business of which he has no experience in. And so, contrary to my gut, contrary to what was really going on inside of my heart, I said, okay, let's do it. Let's give it a try. I pushed him away multiple times. And there's a difference in pushing away a client that you know is good and pushing away a client who you just have this feeling. And I just had that feeling. There were 2 clients. One already ended up being like, it just didn't work out. I knew that was going to happen. Knew that was going to happen. I have many more clients. But those 2 particular clients, both I had this feeling. So earlier today, or I'll take this back before we get into what happened today, is that I had found a virtual assistant for him that was amazing. He was awesome. And we gave him the virtual assistant, but the problem was, my virtual assistant just slacked me, so I saw that come up. The problem was 2 things. One, he would call the virtual assistant like crazy. He was constantly in communication, over communication. Overly. Imagine if your boss, when you're at home sleeping, calls you in the middle of the night. That was happening with his virtual assistant. And then on top of that, it was happening with mine. He was calling my general manager. He was calling my general manager in the middle of the night on Skype, asking a ton of questions constantly. This was in the beginning, so I confronted him. I said, hey, you need to stop that with at least mine. You can do it with yours. I don't care. You can do it with, but you need to stop it with mine. And he was cool about it. We actually got on the phone. He's like, yeah, no problem. No, everything's going well. Everything's great. He loved it. And I even got a testimonial from him and all this other stuff. But eventually, his VA literally, in a matter of 4 months, just bolted, left, said bye, or didn't even say bye. They just left. They were like, I'm out of here. They didn't say goodbye to us. They didn't say goodbye to him. It was just, boom, gone. So, lo and behold, he wanted to get another VA for us to, which we do. If something were to happen, we go and get another VA. Well, as of, the VA started earlier this week. Amazing VA. And she started earlier this week, we tested her out like crazy beforehand, and all the VAs that work in my business, they work for us for a period of time, so we know if they're good or not. Lo and behold, this morning I get a Slack from one of my guys basically saying Ricky is complaining about his new VA and wants to get another one. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. And so, this leads to the topic of letting go a customer. When you let go a customer, and this is a 5-minute decision, and I'm not going back on this decision at all. It's your fault. It's my fault. It's not. It has nothing to do with them. He's not a jerk. He's a great guy. Like I said, it's just not a good fit. I should have said no in the beginning. I should have went with my gut and said no. This is. If you listen to the podcast, you would know that this is the easy, hard thing that I missed, and now it's turned into a hard, easy thing. Which means I could have easily said no in the beginning. It would have been tough. I would have looked like a jerk, but I could have just said no. It's not going to be a good fit, and so on. And moved on from there, and I wouldn't have to worry about this. But now I have to worry about this. I have to worry about how he's going to react. I have to worry about all this. It's just something that I literally had to deal with him for months on various different things because I did not have the guts to do the 5-minute decision, the easy thing in the beginning. So, today, I will be sending an email apologizing, letting him know it's not a good fit, that I don't think it's a good fit, and that we're severing ties. And I'm going to suggest him to just some other, every other virtual assistant agency is what this type of person needs, because we focus, like I said, in systems and documentation VAs. People who can literally clone you. You show them what you do on a video, they document it, and now they can do it from then on. Some people want VAs where they can just talk, they just call, they're more of a back and forth, and just not really where you're spending a ton of time talking and a ton of time kind of micromanaging, and these are not the VAs to do that too. These are the ones where, my guys run my entire multiple businesses that I have. So that's the type of VA that personally I want and that my dream customers want. And so it's just when you're severing ties with somebody, I've had to do this before. Basically, you send a nice email. You say, hey, Robert, it's been great having you as a customer. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a good fit. Ricky is what I said. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's going to be a good fit. And it's not going. Unfortunately, it's not a good fit. And so, that being said, I believe it's best that we sever ties, or best that we no longer continue our relationship. However, I suggest, in order for you to get another VA that would work best for you, I suggest going to X company. And that's it. It doesn't really have to be that difficult, right? And he might come back with something. I don't know what he's going to come back with. I have things going on in my imagination of what could happen, but I'm not going to know until it happens. I'm going to be really polite, and I've had to do this in the past, and it's always worked out in my benefit. And so it works out for his too, so he doesn't have to. It's just not a good fit. So that's how you sever ties with the customer. Be polite. Shoot an email. It's great working with you. However, Ricky, you are great. I'm glad that we have a good relationship. However, I don't think right now our service is a good fit for you. But I do suggest going to in the future or whatever. That's really all you have to do. All right. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to go do that right now. And we will see in the next episode what happens. All right, Dean Soto, freedomin5minutes.com. And I'm going to go after that. I'm going to do a podcast. All right, see ya. freedomin5minutes.com. Bye.